Hi guys, today we have a special unboxing of the brand new M4 Mac Mini, which surprisingly went under the radar with no special press conference from Apple. It was released on their website, but this is probably the most important and most innovative product they've released all year. Now, even the packaging that it comes in is significantly smaller than the Mac Mini M2. The dimensions of this Mac Mini is actually only 5 by 5 inches, which is very insane and very closer to the Apple TV unit. Now, like all standard Apple packaging these days, it's very minimalistic. Once you open up the box, you'll notice the unit itself, and there really isn't much else that comes included in the box. You get a braided power cable, which is good because anything braided typically lasts longer than just standard plastic. And you get a pamphlet that has some instructions on how to connect to your monitor and how to set up the Mac Mini. You do not get an HDMI cable or a USB-C cable, so if you are looking for a cable to connect to your monitor, you will need to supply that yourself, and that really is it in terms of the contents. One thing that I was actually a little sad about was that Apple no longer provides you with the Apple stickers, so if you're looking for them with the Mac Mini, unfortunately you don't get any. Now, taking a look at the unit itself, you notice immediately how small it is. Significantly smaller than the previous generation M2 Mac Mini and all of the previous generations before it, but it keeps similar characteristics, the solid unibody aluminum design, which feels extremely solid in the hand and very pleasant to look at, very minimalistic, but it does come with a lot of useful ports. The front has two USB-C ports, a power indicator light, and a 3.5mm jack, which is very important for those audiophiles that still want a wired connection. Now, turning over to the rear, you have the power connecting port, you have a dedicated LAN port for an Ethernet connection, as well as 3 more additional USB-Cs and an HDMI cable to plug into your TV or monitor if you want to use an HDMI. Now, flipping the unit upside down, you'll notice that the power button is actually on the bottom, and I think this is probably the only design flaw for the Mac Mini. But being it so small, it's not too difficult to just simply pick it up and turn it on and press the button. And you'll notice that the exhaust is circular, and that indicates that this is passively cooled with an actual fan inside of it to keep the M4 chip cool. Now, just to give an idea of how small this unit is, this is me comparing it to my PS5 controller. And you can tell that the PS5 controller is actually wider than the Mac Mini itself. So it's incredible that such a powerful machine has been condensed into such a small unit. And speaking of the controller, this Mac Mini M4 absolutely supports truly next-gen gaming with its powerful GPU support, all integrated into a single chip. So just incredible feat of engineering from Apple. Now, I just want to take a minute to go over the technical specifications for this unit. I have the 16GB memory and 256GB SSD storage model of the M4, which is actually the base model. And thankfully, Apple has now upped the RAM to 16GB as the baseline, so no more 8GB. That's to support the M4 processor, but also to support Apple Intelligence. I finally like the fact that you can get 16GB as a default spec for any Mac going forward. Now, the pricing is also very important. This is the cheapest Mac you can purchase, and it's the same price that the M2 Mac Mini was released at. So Apple isn't actually increasing the price. So you actually get a better product for the same price. Now, naturally, obviously, that's going to be the case because it's been 18 months since the previous generation was released. But it's nice to know that Apple is not overcharging. Now, you do have the option of upgrading up to 24GB of memory and increasing the storage. But there have been videos that have surfaced online that the SSD in the Mac Mini is actually removable. It's not the easiest to remove, but it is expandable. You also get the option of simply adding an external SSD. So if you are in the space of saving money, you just want a very powerful computer, and you're willing to upgrade after the fact, then stick to the base model. I highly recommend it. This is a very powerful machine for the price you pay for. Now, I do want to make a quick note about Apple Intelligence. While the M4 supports it, it has not been released yet as a feature. This probably won't be released until December in its beta and January as its full launch period. So if you're expecting Apple Intelligence immediately out of the box, I'm just giving you a heads up, you have to wait a bit for it. Now, one of the very first things I did with the Mac Mini is run some baseline tests for it. I loaded up Cinebench and wanted to see what the multi-core and the single-core test speeds were, and the scores were actually quite shocking, like shockingly good. Very fast in multi-core performance and extremely fast in single-threaded performance as well. It's a very fast clocked CPU, and I'm not surprised that Apple has made such an incredible chip. The best decision they made was ditching Intel and developing their own CPU. Now, this is not a be-all and end-all. It just gives you an idea of where it looks and sits with benchmarks relative to other CPUs. I will be releasing a full video review testing different applications and just day-to-day to see what my final verdict of this is. But initially, I'm not surprised that this unit is just extremely powerful. So guys, if you want to see the full review, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. I will be releasing it soon. I hope you guys enjoyed this initial unboxing and first setups, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.